أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم. استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه وأنه إليه تحشرون. صدق الله العظيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Allah al-Muhyi al-Mumit, the giver and taker of life, proclaims in the glorious Quran in Surah Al-An'am, chapter 8, ayah verse 24. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه وأنه إليه تحشرون. Believers, respond to the call of God and the messenger whenever the messenger invites you unto that which will give you life, lima yuhyikum, and know that God intervenes between a person and their heart, and unto God you will all be gathered. The literal meaning of the above Quranic verse is crystal clear. Islam is a religion that invites and encourages its adherents to embrace all that which gives life, lima yuhyikum, not death. Such a view is endorsed by the 20th century commentator of the Quran, Sayyid Qutb, who died in the year 1966. In Fi Dhilal al-Quran, Qutb contends that verse 24 of Surah Al-An'am, chapter 8, calls on believers first to embrace life in its fullness with all its connotations. Second, not to resign themselves to passively succumb to tyranny and oppression, but to strive for human freedom and human dignity. And third, to reject negative beliefs of fatalism, urban legends, and conspiracy theories. The meaning of verse 24 of Surah Al-An'am, chapter 8, is reflected in many other verses of the glorious Quran. For example, Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, ayah verse 32, Surah Al-An'am, chapter 6, ayah verse 151, Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, ayah verse number 33, and Surah Al-Furqan, chapter 25, verse number 68. Inspired by all of these verses of the Quran, which underscores a pivotal and central teaching of Islam, expounded in the most primary source of Islamic guidance, the fuqaha, the classical Muslim jurists, have made the sanctity of human life, hifdhul hayat, as one of the supreme objectives of Islamic law, known as maqasid al-sharia. Given the above positive and affirming message of Islam and the central and pivotal position that the sanctity of human life, hifdhul hayat, occupies within the sharia, within Islamic jurisprudence, it is not at all surprising, therefore, that the overwhelming majority of contemporary Muslim judicial authorities and ulama across the world have given fatwa, Islamic legal judgments, declaring the taking of COVID-19 vaccines not only as halal, as permissible, but mandoob, highly recommended. A number of prestigious Islamic fatwa bodies, including Egypt's Darul Ifta, Al-Azhar Islamic University, the United Arab Emirates Fatwa Council under the leadership of the renowned contemporary Muslim jurist Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayyan, and the Assembly of Muslim Jurists, have all classified COVID-19 coronavirus vaccines as preventative medicines and recommended that Muslims take these vaccines in order to prevent the spread of the contagious disease and to mitigate the harm the pandemic has inflicted on human lives and livelihoods, and most of all, to save human lives. Locally, the Muslim Judicial Council, the MJC, and the Islamic Medical Association of South Africa have also recommended that Muslims take the COVID-19 vaccine. All of these fatwa, these Islamic legal judgments, have two things in common. One, they uphold the supreme sanctity of human life, hifdhul hayat. And second, they recognize that we are living through one of the worst pandemics in human history, and thus require the application of Islamic emergency legal maxims. Ad-darurat tubihul mahdhurat. Necessity makes the unlawful lawful. It is my considered view that this is an encouraging and commendable position. Globally, the overwhelming Muslim authorities have encouraged Muslims to take COVID-19 vaccines. It is indeed encouraging and commendable. It is also my considered view that the Islamic evidences, the adillah, of the small and insignificant number of what I would like to call Muslim skeptics who are unwilling to take the COVID-19 vaccines, their evidences are insubstantial and unconvincing. Moreover, in accordance with the Islamic legal maxim, akhaffu ad-dararain, lesser of the two evils, the postulated risk of taking the vaccine are not sufficient to make the vaccine impermissible, haram. More disconcerting, however, is the fact that these skeptics are prone to peddling conspiracy theories. And despite the overwhelming scientific and medical evidence, they deny that humanity is currently living through a coronavirus pandemic, which is causing untold human suffering and daily deaths. It is my considered view that we should refrain from wasting our valuable energies in engaging in negative diatribes with such obstinate conspiracy theorists. It is, however, ironic that many of these same skeptics, they have taken yellow fever and other vaccines in order to qualify to perform the Hajj. They also take vaccines in order to enjoy other worldly privileges, such as, for example, enrolling their children in prestigious schools or immigrating to Western countries. So while I'm saying we should not engage with such obstinate conspiracy theorists, we should be aware of the misinformation that they are peddling and guard ourselves and guard our families from falling prey to their misguided views. My message, my nasiha at this sacred hour of Jum'ah is that all conscientious Muslims should take the COVID-19 vaccine, and they should view and see the embracing of the vaccine as an act of Sadaqa, an act of charity intended with the niyyah to save lives and to reduce the immense human suffering caused by the coronavirus pandemic. For taking the vaccine is not merely an act of self-preservation, but it is also an act of love and compassion for others. In this regard, our exemplar and guide, Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's everlasting peace and blessings be upon him, has taught us in a prophetic tradition narrated by the illustrious companion Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, and recorded in the hadith collection of Imam Bukhari. وَتُمِيتُ الْأَذَى عَنِ الطَّرِيقِ صَدَقَةٌ. Removing a harmful thing from the road is a sadaqah, is a charity. The import and meaning of this hadith is clear. Preventing harm by removing things from public spaces which may cause injury or harm is a generous act of charity, of sadaqah. This position is also reflected in another prophetic tradition, hadith, and an Islamic jurisprudential maxim, لا ضرر ولا ضرار. There should be no harm or reciprocating harm. Or in other words, one should neither suffer harm or be responsible for the cause of harm to others. I strongly urge and encourage you all to get vaccinated as soon as it is made available to you. I furthermore recommend that Muslims should join civil society campaigns to ensure that the distribution of vaccines is executed equitably and justly and reach the most vulnerable, those who do not have private health care and cannot afford to pay for vaccines. In our current context, COVID-19 vaccines are a public good and should be made available to all of our citizens. In this regard, I am delighted to inform you that the Claremont Main Road Masjid has joined the People's Vaccination Campaign to ensure equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines for everyone, especially those who rely on our public health system. I call upon members of the Claremont Main Road Masjid congregation and others to support this campaign, which seeks to mobilize civil society to partner with government and other stakeholders in shaping and providing oversight over the national vaccination rollout program. You may visit the CMRM social media platforms for information on how to get involved in the People's Vaccination Campaign. In this spirit, I urge you to guard against being driven by self-preservation only and using your privileges to jump queues. Let us all exercise sabr, patience in the coming month and follow the national guidelines of the vaccine rollout plan and step forward whenever our turn comes around. In conclusion, while we are optimistic about the positive effects of the COVID-19 vaccine, until such time that we have not yet reached population immunity, let us continue to be vigilant. Let us continue to practice the necessary protocols of washing our hands, wearing masks in public places, maintaining good physical distancing, and avoiding crowded spaces. We make dua that Allah Ash-Shafi, the source of all healing, grant us healing, grant us relief and protection from the COVID-19 pandemic. And we make dua and we supplicate that Allah guides our public officials to find the most equitable and just manner of rolling out the vaccine, such that those who need it most may receive it first.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس واشف أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاءك شفاء لا يغادر سقما اشف مرضانا نسألك اللهم أن تشفيهم من هذا الوباء كرونا اللهم آنس قلوبهم بنور وجهك الكريم اشف أجسامنا وأنفسنا بحبك ورحمتك وأن نتوكل دائما على رحمتك الواسعة والحمد لله رب العالمين.